This week, David, we're doing something perhaps meant to be a little luxurious, but I'm not quite sure.
The Mazda CX90.
We've got a pair of them, David. They're both Azumis. Mine's definitely got the Takumi interior for 5,000 smackaroos. The facts and figures, David, Mazda's made a big song and dance all over the car, well, at least on the side. It says inline six. They've got an inline six petrol and an inline six diesel.
They haven't given up on internal combustion engines. They've developed these new versions of it in a time when most people are merely doing touch-ups on existing models.
Absolutely. And the other interesting thing is that they're 48 volt mild hybrid, and the 8-speed automatic doesn't have a torque converter. So I assume that's somehow connected in with the 48 volt disconnects or some such. I did ask Mazda for some detail, but they've not gotten back to me yet. The headlights themselves, very complex, relatively complex series of lines and swirls. Well, you can see here that there's a double lot of little swishes, little Nike-esque swishes. This nice big black grille, and it is a big black grille. They've got walk-away locking and the smart locking. So you've got walk-away locking, but also just here, and you've got to really feel for it, there's a little divot, and if you touch that divot, it'll lock the doors for you, and if you put your hand inside, it'll unlock them. E Sky Active G. I know what the E means, that's the 48 volt hybrid bit, but I don't know what the G means. Perhaps it's G series, do you think?
Sky Active has been their big effort to try and work hard on internal combustion engines, and to their credit, but the future will tell whether that's a commitment to something that's on the way out.
Well, everybody else, as we said, is going electric. You can see it's CX90 all-wheel drive on the other side. After considerable effort, we raised the floor and the plastic bin, and there is a spare under there, David. Space saver one. And a doof-doof. And a doof-doof. Now, there's quite a lot of space in the back, David.
Yeah, the space with the seats up wasn't catastrophically small, but it's obviously not huge.
And you can't see it on the film, but it's a gradual little slope up. You've got a couple of window shades here. That's a manual affair. There's the kind of lovely birch or whatever it is, upgrade or oak. Very, very nice. You've got tons of room there, David, and that seat is set for me.
Oh, Alan, I think this is excellent. I could even move it forward if I wanted to give a bit of room for the back. But I've got.
Well, just move it forward and I'll show the viewers. David had to move.
Oh, that's beyond reasonable. But
David had to move the seat a long way forward to get any room in the back, but nonetheless.
My head's a bit clear, and the sunroof goes back a fair way, so I could enjoy being chauffeured around.
And I think the white interior makes the back feel a little bit less enclosed.
Yes.
You've got a lovely big wide armrest with a couple of lid thingamybobs, with a couple of lids, some cup holders, another zone of air conditioning, plus you've got heating and cooling for the outboard rear seats, which is lovely, and a couple of USB-Cs. See, up here I've got my wireless Apple CarPlay. Now, this was not an easy connect. The first day I fiddled with it and it just wouldn't connect. When I came back the next day after having spoken to Mazda, turned it on and the wireless bit just worked, even though it said the day it wouldn't. You can see this stitching here. This little fine stitching, little zigzag stitch. It's absolutely beautiful work, but I can't help but think that someone's going to come along, a kid, and pick it. But down here there's a lovely array of climate controls that are easy to use because they're right in front of you. And in front of that is only the camera, which I think is very, very good.
Excellent camera.
And the command center for what should be a touch control system. It was designed to be used with. I've got to go like so. And am I on it? No. Am I on it now? No. I'm on it now. It just drives me bananas.
I have a totally different opinion.
Oh, it's
I love
horrible.
that it steps clearly between each choice. Looking, and then
Because
when I
it's
look, I'm happy.
10,000 years old.
Alan, there's you and me on this side. We'll put it like this.
Hold on. Don't know why. No! Stop! What? How do you set this thing? Park, handbrake on. You press set and memorise, and it just, I'm not going to do it. The other thing, David, is this. The very, very odd way you select gear. So it's a T-bar style selector, but you've got to go, put your finger in the button, go over for reverse, and then go down. Huge digital screen in front of the driver, and the head-up display is about this wide.
Love it.
It's beautiful, and this is beautifully wide as well. I love the way that that's set out.
That's interesting, Alan. It's not over deep by any means, and therefore not as intrusive to my mind, not like the tack on that many appear to be.
Well, this still sticks up above the dash, so I thought it would upset your sense and sensibility. This does have drive modes, David.
Only 3.
Sport, yep, sport, normal, and off-road. Did you go off-road?
I don't think it's an all-wheel drive for great off-roading. I think it's more for good grip in the wet on the bitumen.
The inline 6-cylinder is very smooth. It gets a boost from that 48-volt hybrid system, but there's a funny hesitation in the automatic.
The gearbox at low speeds can be flirty. It can do
David.
little things that I think that surprise you.
Oh, as Dick Emery used to say, oh, you are awful, but I like you. Nippy. Yeah.
It's got a sophisticated roar to it, I think.
254 kilowatts is still a reasonable amount of power in my view. I'm going to take that out of sport. By the way, my dash went all red so that I could tell
blushed.
that I was, yes, I did blush. We've got all the usual refinements as well. Of course, you've got to do that now for 5 stars. It's got smart cruise control, speed limiter, plus it's got, I'm just going to turn it on. Now, it is always on. It's got smart steering as well. I'm just going to pop that up to 100. Now, it's keeping me a set distance from the car in front, and it has, I can see in the head-up display, which is about here, I can see that it's activated the little green lines, which means the auto steering is working. I did find that when the auto steering stopped, it would bing at me, which is very annoying. So you've got that in manual, have you? No, you've got it in drive? So it shouldn't be this difficult to figure out. I mean, how many cars have you driven in your life, David? Thousands, hundreds of millions. Millions of cars you've driven.
Sports
Billions.
mode is not for the urban area. It's holding me in lower gears, which just feels unnecessarily revving, which it is. So, I like the fact, though, that it's not a switch that takes you in only one direction.
Yeah.
I can go.
Oh, yeah, me too. There's just something about this entire setup that does not feel like Mazda.
Okay.
The ride is floaty, yet then it was bumpy. And the gear changes are smooth, but clunky.
At the lower speeds.
And the cost. I mean, you know, there's 80s and 90s, and this Takumi, Falumi, Dajumi upgrade is $5,000. So that's a lot of bickies to get a car that you're not 100% happy with. And it doesn't even have a smart mirror, which
It's
I would
pushing
expect
up
that money.
market, certainly I think in the style, but not in a sort of BMW sporty way, but rather in the more luxury way, or the more...
I can understand that. I can understand paying more money for perceived luxury. I think the thing is, if you're going to have perceived luxury, there has to be some luxury to go with it. It can't be all perception. That's all this week from Mazda's CX90. not a bad car. I'm not sure, I can't see the extra value over CX9.
It's a car you have to grow used to it in some of its quirky ways.
Yeah, but as always, it's come time to hit like.
Leave a comment.
And above all, make sure you subscribe with the little round dot.